Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today we have Javier Mendez on the show from Dubai. My very good friend, longtime training coach, myself for my career. Now he's training the boys in Dubai, Khabib, Islam, and Umar for their fight on October 24th at UFC 254. This is a continuation of the Team, aka Team Khabib series. Javier is going to give some insight on their training camp in Dubai, how they're doing, how they're feeling, how they're looking going into their fight, what he's expecting. We're going to break down some stuff. So it should be a very good podcast. Due to scheduling concerns and changes and all the differences that's going on over there, a lot of the guys are going to Abu Dhabi now from Dubai, as Khabib and all the guys had their fight camp in Dubai. They're now going to Abu Dhabi, so it changed the schedule up a little bit. So we're going to bring on Jav right now. Then we're going to bring Islam on next, and then Khabib after that. So anyway, let's talk to Javier. Javier, welcome to the show again. My favorite guest.
Again and again and again.
My favorite guest, always.
When am I going to come back after this one?
Right after. I'm going to call you as soon as we hang up. Just to continue. Cool. We have the best conversations after. How are you doing? How you doing, man? How's everything going? How's all the training going with the guys and everything?
It's been a chore. It's been a chore for sure. First time for me to run the team. I never ran their team. You know, last time I was here, I was the second. You know, the father was running the team. This time I'm running the team. So it's been a chore. There's things have gone on that shouldn't have gone on, and there's some great things and some bad things, like in all camps.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but it's been a chore. But it's been well received, and the amenities we've had, you know, at the NAS Training Center complex and the sport arena is second to none. It's the best training facilities in the world.
Yeah,
you know, so we a lot of great facility training.
Before I get back to that and the guys real fast, I want to say you look really good. Obviously, you're obviously training and eating good. It seems like I'm seeing photos and videos of you training with the guys, and you look better than ever. So, how's your training going?
My eating's going bad, real bad,
real
bad. But my training is going really good. I'm averaging about an hour and a half a day to myself,
right?
Which I've never done that since. You know, I'm not training like when I was fighting, but at the very same time, I'm not training like I've ever trained after I quit fighting. So this is the most training I've ever done, and I gained weight. I didn't lose weight, but my clothes are fitting a lot looser, even though I've gained weight. Well, obviously, you know, we know what the result is there. You know, I put on some muscle.
I think you gained better weight because you look good, man.
Yeah, I think so. Because my clothes is really loose now. My t-shirts. Before my t-shirts would be bulging out. Like this shirt would be like, you know, at the very end, you know, and now it's really loose. Feels like a double XL instead of XL, you know.
You got to get you some more AK Thailand shirts, different sizes now.
Yeah, well, somebody can't send shit to me, so I don't know, whatever.
It's a pandemic. It's not like I control the worldwide virus pandemic. I can't even get customers. How am I supposed to send shirts?
I got one cool AKA bright orange, like, you know, shirt. I did bring it with me, and I do have some pictures. It's pretty cool, but that's it. Nice. Just one. Thank you very much.
I don't even remember having an orange shirt, so maybe you just washed it with some orange clothes. You probably have the only one. So how is the UFC and the UAE treating you overall? Is it a good experience being over there in a fight camp, like a full fight camp with the full guys with in the UAE and with the UFC?
Yeah, as far as the UAE, the treatment, it's like unbelievable. The people are fantastic. The camps got mishaps, you know, but as far as the people and the amenities, oh my gosh, you couldn't ask for a better situation than what we have here. You could not ask for a better training situation. No way. We got it down packed, you know. But you know, there's just things that have gone on in the camps that like in all camps things go sideways and things unforeseen, things known and unknown, you know, just, you know, but at the end of the day, you're still there to fight, you know.
Yeah, it's a new place to do an entire fight camp. Are they doing good about dividing everybody up, like where you're at in Dubai right now compared to where, like, I know we got 3 guys fighting on the card on 254 October 24th, but just using Khabib as an example, are they doing a good job of breaking up Justin and Khabib as far as different locations that they're training at, or are they just in the same location but just different times, or how does that work with the different teams?
Well, I don't know yet, because we're not in Abu Dhabi yet. We're still in Dubai, and I believe when we go to Abu Dhabi, I believe we're going to be quarantined. We're all going to be sequestered in our own room for 2 days. So I can't be around Khabib. I can't be around anybody, just by myself, and until they give us clearance. We've been doing COVID tests about every 3 days or so. I've had about 8 tests already since I've been here. I had one this morning. Yeah, but it's going to be pretty rough, I think, because, you know, you can't do your normal thing. But in Dubai at the present time, we can go wherever we want to go. It's just we stick together, and we try not to shake people's hands. We knuckle up, if anything. Khabib is not allowed to take pictures with anybody because we got to protect him like a bubble. You know, it's too dangerous. You know, as you know, everybody's getting COVID, and we can't afford for him to get it. So, even though fans, I mean, they have to try to understand that he's not available for photos, even no matter what, because no one's safe, you know. And even I'm kind of not really available for photos, even though I do take some. I shouldn't be, because it is risking it. Because if I get contracted, he can. I mean, look what's gone on with me in my San Jose gym. 2 of my other guys got it. One got it in Vegas. You know, when he went to Vegas, he got it probably on the plane, or who knows, whatever. He got it. He's out of his fight. And I have 2 other guys that just got it, and they're out of their fights, you know. And even the Cristiano, the greatest soccer player in the world, he just got it. So, you know, this thing is, you know. It's
going around.
Everybody, man. It's you just have to be careful. And I don't know what you're going to do about it. I mean, it is what it is, you know. And you do everything you can to prevent it. You still get it. For God's sake, our own president got it, and his wife. How does he get it? Our own president? Come on, dude. If they're not taking care of him properly, who is?
Yeah,
and you know goddamn well doing the best job on him, and he got it.
But for like what I meant by for Gaethje and his team and the other camps and stuff, are they all still located in Dubai, or some of them in Abu Dhabi? Like, in other words, like, how are they dividing up all the different people that are fighting each other? That's what I'm talking about. Are you running into each other, or is it like completely separate and you're just kind of on your own?
No, we're on our own, because we're not here on the UFC's dime. We're here. We're here on time. No, it has nothing to do with the UFC.
So everybody else is in Abu Dhabi.
No, everybody else. The UFC is not going to take care of you for 2 weeks, dude. They don't do that. They're going to take care of their normal 1 week, 6 days out. They're either on their dime then. But no, we're not on their dime, and no one else is on their dime. They don't do that.
Gotcha.
You know that. When you were fighting, they never took care of you outside of that, unless it's in your contract.
Right.
If not, you got to route. No, I don't know where Gaethje is at. As far as I know, Gaethje is probably still not in Abu Dhabi yet, because, you know, again, he'd have to pay his own stuff, and why would he?
So Khabib just set up the whole camp ahead of time, just to do his whole camp there with all you guys, and it's completely separate. Yeah,
we discussed it way beforehand because of the COVID that he was. I told him I didn't want him to come to San Jose, aka I said not this camp. There's too many, you know. And come on, man, U.S. is the #1 culprit for COVID out of any country, you know. So we were at the highest, and why do I want to bring my guy in a bad situation like that, knowing full well that he had a sweet situation over here like nobody,
right?
You know,
of course, yeah, they love him.
So knew that all his training partners was all he needed. I mean, he's got some of the best training partners in the world.
Yeah,
so
all the guys.
He didn't need San Jose. He didn't need San Jose at all. He's just very comfortable in AKA San Jose, but he didn't need us.
Yeah,
you know, he has his own to do.
Yeah. For you as a coach, what difference does it make having someone like Chandler coming in, possibly in case like Gaethje does fall out or whatever, be an opponent, versus someone like Tony being the back guy, considering he only lost to Gaethje? He was on a 12-fight win streak. He would seem to be the choice. I mean, I know Chandler came in and they're trying to do something with him, whatever, but you as a coach, what difference does that make for you, having someone like Chandler on the side, possibly as an opponent here at short notice like this, versus someone like Tony Ferguson, if they were to bring him in and have him be in the holding dock?
Well, I think from the fans' perspective, Tony would be the more logical, approved bet, you know. Yeah. But from, you know, if you listen to Khabib's interview, he thinks Tony needs to get a win for him to even come back into the picture, and he feels that Tony might not be at his best anymore. So
yeah,
it is what it is. It's Chandler and his. But from a fan's perspective, I would think that they still would want Tony.
Yeah,
I 100%. If you had a vote, Chandler or Tony, I'd almost think 99.9% Tony.
Yeah, that would be a big For sure, 100%. Do you think that Khabib still wants to fight Tony, depending on if he does get his... I mean, not looking past Gaethje, of course. You can't look past Gaethje in whatever the situation. But since that fight was supposed to happen so many times and it never did, do you think there's a part of Khabib that just wants to fight him no matter what at some point, if he deserves it and he gets his right, and they just are in a position to fight each other just to close that chapter, considering it's been opened so many times, more than any fight, I think, in the history of the UFC?
Yeah, it's really funny about all those questions people ask me. I never talked to him about who he wants to fight. Never.
Yeah, he never talks
about it. We just train for the fighter. So, you know, what I'm saying is not really from what him and I talked about. It's from what I'm thinking. And it's not from talking to him. It's just what I'm thinking. You know, and I would have to say, based on what I read, I would say that he's closed that chapter, you know, and he's moved on to the new horizon. And, you know, if we can get by Gaethje, which is not going to be an easy task in itself, because he's very, very tough.
Absolutely.
And if we can't figure out the Gaethje puzzle, we can have a problem in our hands, you know. So we have to stay focused on that. But I would think that anybody else outside of GSP, you know, from this fight on is not important to him.
And I know you probably don't, I mean, you probably haven't talked a lot about it, but just, I'm going to ask Khabib as well when we do the podcast, but do you, like, I know he shut down Conor completely from what the interviews and news media is saying as far as not wanting to fight him or do the Ultimate Fighter. And that was the kind of surprise that Dana had, was to have him possibly do the Ultimate Fighter with Conor. Do you think, just from knowing Khabib, would he be game for even doing the Ultimate Fighter? Say it could have been, or say it is GSP or anybody, like not necessarily a specific opponent. Do you think he's the type that would enjoy even doing something like that, or probably just stick to fights? I
think that it's a good opportunity for him, and I think personally, if Conor does fight Dustin, they does go through and he does win, or Dustin wins, and then they offer Dustin the Ultimate Fighter and Khabib, I think he'll take it. Yeah. I think he will, because I think he believes that Dustin is the #2 toughest guy, being Gaethje #1, Dustin #2. So Khabib wants to be 30-0 or higher. I think 30-0, and he wants to quit. You know, who knows what will happen, but he wants 30-0 for darn sure. So I would think what better way to go than to beat the toughest guy instead of getting an easy opponent. He wants the toughest guy. And to me, GSP would be the toughest guy. That's why he wants that fight. And I think that if Conor beats Dustin, then I think the UFC puts that fight together. I believe Khabib will take it, because he would have felt that Conor earned that fight. And I think, personally speaking, that's why I think, and I could be wrong because I don't talk to Khabib.
Right.
I think that Conor's thinking that, hey, yeah, I beat Dustin. I took out all the contenders. Now you have to fight me.
And
if you want to fight your next one. If you don't get your GSP, you have to fight me. Even though Conor's saying he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao, which will be way more money for him if he can manage to get that. But I think the doors are open for a big, giant payday for Conor regardless. And the door's 100% open. If we get by Gaethje, there's a huge monster payday for Khabib on the next fight.
Yeah, you would think, I mean, as big as GSP is and as big of a super fight as that is, and like that's always been a huge super fight for anybody, I still can't imagine there being a bigger Ultimate Fighter or bigger super fight than him and Conor, though. Like that would be, if Conor beat Poirier and deserved his spot, I think that would still even be bigger than GSP versus Khabib, just because GSP's had that time off and people's going to question the age. And another question I want to ask you, too, is what do you think about Conor taking that fight? I was really surprised. I had a lot of respect for him for taking it because, I mean, that's a legit fight to take. I did not think Conor was going to take a fight like Poirier in a legit UFC fight like that.
Well, for me, I think that because Conor's so great with the media and he does it, for him it doesn't matter. Bad press, good press, it all equates to stardom for him. So he's going to do whatever he can. So he's going to press Khabib's buttons. You know damn well if that comes through. So that, because of that, that'll be huge. Where GSP is such a gentleman. He's incapable of stirring up the crap and causing people to tune in. Conor is going to screw it up every which way possible to get people to tune in. That's what he does. That's what he's a master of. I wish he wouldn't do the things he does, but that's who he is. That's what he's going to do. So I think that, I think you're correct. I think that Conor and him would be monster beyond anything, you know, if that was to be offered. GSP would be huge, but I don't think it would be as big, just like you're saying. I don't think so.
And are you surprised with him taking the Poirier fight? And how do you see that fight going, considering I'm surprised because he would be jumping in against the #2 guy like that, next to Gaethje, obviously?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I see him jumping. He'll jump against anybody, man. Come on, dude.
He's proven
that
it now, for sure.
70, you know, he doesn't care. He's a warrior, man. He'll fight, and I give him 3-1 to win in that one. He's definitely in favor to win that fight. If they do put it together, which it looks like they're going to, and if they put it at Cowboy Stadium, which would be great,
yeah, that'd be huge.
I believe get at least 20,000 people in there because of the way the Cowboy Stadium's set up. I believe if they can pull it off, I think he would be the favorite. Not guaranteed because Dustin, I mean, man, you don't overlook Dustin. No way.
For sure.
He is as tough as they come and as good as they come.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Going back to the fame and when you said Khabib can't take photos now because of the COVID, how big is Khabib now? Like you hang out with him all the time. I haven't seen him in a long time, but compared to like celebrity levels of other celebrities and things like that, how big is it walking around with Khabib? Like how big is he really as a celebrity? It's huge,
as big as they come. As big as they come. As big as the stars they come in this area. As big as they come. Yeah. I don't think they come any bigger. They really don't. I mean, he is so popular, but he doesn't walk around anywhere. We're not anywhere where the public's at with him. He's always got 2 highly trained police officers that are staying by his room, outside his room, so no one can get to him. And no, you know, he's as big as they come, man. Biggest athlete as they come, and forget about, you know, this sport, that sport. No, he's just as big as they come.
How is it for you and your life change? I mean, obviously I know, but I mean, coming from being one of the best trainers in the world and still being that best trainer in the world, but now with all this fame added on, you're a superstar. You're the most famous trainer in one of the biggest sports in the world. Like, how has that changed your life as far as when you walk around and your just day-to-day life in general?
For me, it's here. In Dubai, they don't recognize trainers that much, so I'm very. It's easy for me. I do get stopped, but not like Russia, not like Dagestan, not like Uzbekistan. That's a whole different level for me.
Right, they respect the coaches.
Here it's hey coach, how you doing, coach, and very respectful. But remember, because of COVID, especially where we're at, there's hardly anybody here in the hotel. So we're not amongst a lot of people. So that in itself, and I'm not out in the public. So that in itself, I don't know what kind of impact I have. I know when I was here last year and we went to the weigh-ins, it was crazy for me. It was unbelievably crazy. I've never had that kind of attention at our weigh-ins. Never. Yeah. It was like unbelievable. It was everybody everywhere flagging me down. And I couldn't even get out of there. It was nuts, you know. So obviously, because of Khabib, I'm very popular in the UA, you know, and they received me really well. But for me, it's easy right now because they don't recognize me. Most people don't recognize me. We got the masks and everything too, so it's been fairly easy. Not many people either. So combination of they don't recognize me, and combination of there's not that many people here.
Right. Yeah, I see y'all doing some fun stuff. It seems like y'all are having a good time. It seems like a fun camp. You know, it's always been kind of fun training at AK through the years, but it just seems like with you guys over there and Dubai, it seems like you guys are having a lot of fun. And obviously you're training hard. I've said this with multiple guys that we've had on the show with Abu Bakr and Tagir and Usman and Umar and everybody else, but it seems like you guys are having a lot of fun in between training so hard as obviously the guys do. They train super, super hard, but it seems like y'all got great chemistry, and it seems like the camaraderie and the fun is there to at least pass some time.
It's AKA 2.0.
Yeah, it seems like it. I'm jealous.
Brotherhood at AKA. Remember, when we finish at AKA, everybody drives their own way. They go here, they go there, they go there, and then they come back for training. Here, we go together as a team. We get the cars all lined up. We get in our cars. We finish training. We come back to the hotel room. We finish back. We get back on the cars and we go. And then we do things together because we're told to stick with amongst each other. And these guys, that's what they do anyway. That's what they do, yeah. So this is 100%, in my opinion, the best family, real family fight team I've ever encountered in my life. And AKA, it's great, but not like this because these people have their own lives. They don't live together. They're not in the same vicinity. Everybody's come from different parts of the world. Over there, these guys grew up together. So it is definitely more of a bond than I could ever expect to have had the privilege of coaching such great athletes that were from little 10-year-olds, you know, up to now.
Yeah, and you kind of just answered this, but I mean, I was kind of an introvert when when I was trained with AKA, and like I've always been kind of that way. Even now at AKA Thailand, I never hang out with a lot of the people there. I just go do my thing, go home, hang out with my friends when I can, mostly work a lot. And I know DC's always giving me a hard time because I never go to events and never go to and do things. How much difference is that when it's such a family oriented team where, like, you know, I would go to training, I'd go home, I'd come to certain events and then go home and just kind of always just kind of be by myself a lot more than I wish I had of. But how much difference is it when it is so family oriented and like everything you do, you go to training and then there's that, and then instead of going home, now you're all going to dinner, and now you're all going to hang out in each other's hotel rooms, and now you're all going to playing basketball. It changes everything, right? Like it changes the family dynamic completely.
It just bonds you beyond bonding. It really does, because these guys, they'll go do everything together. They'll go, like you said, dinner. We'll go to the beach. Well, everybody go jet skiing. You know, they'll go horseback riding. They'll go bike riding. You know, I mean, everything's together. You know, it's like one comes, one comes, they all come. You know, and and then we'll go on a boat ride. We went on a boat ride for 6 hours. All of us went together on a boat. There was 20-something of us. There wasn't one of us that did not go on that boat ride, and it was an unbelievable experience. You know, the bonding that these guys have, that me bonding with the respect level these guys have for their coaches it's second to none, man. It's second to none. It's just real. It's legit because they do that with their elders. Yeah. Their elders are the most respected. And therefore, since I'm the coach, I'm the most respected. You know, it's a hierarchy. You know, the higher you are, the more respect you get. But everybody gets respect. It's just the higher you are, the more a priority. Like I'll be coming down, and if they're sitting down on a couch and I come down, the younger one will get up. The younger one will get up, or both of them will get up, and they insist that I sit, even though I don't want to sit. They make me sit. They will take my bag. I can't even take my own bag. They will not let me take my own bag. I get preference to the front seat. If everybody is in the front seat and I come around, the person who's in the front seat will get out of that front seat. Even Khabib will get out of the front seat, give me the front seat, and Khabib will go in the back and pack himself in the car. That's the kind of respect that they have for their elders and their coaches. Wow, that's crazy. But that just shows their class, you know, and like their respect for each other. I think that's great. You know, Dana White has said, you know, because he was real close with Conor when Conor was on the rise and when he was fighting Floyd Mayweather, and they had that whole big ride together. He's had the ride with Conor the whole time. And he said that was one of the greatest experiences of his life, taking that ride with Conor. What has it been like for you taking that ride with Khabib, considering you've built champions, you've built stars, but it's nothing compared to the ride you've had with someone like Khabib? How has that ride been for you? Just memory's sake, not necessarily fun sake and things that you've done and experiences, but how has that ride been? Unbelievable, meeting all these powerful people that I met because of him. Yeah. And the respect level they have for me because I'm his coach. It's incredible. I met some extremely powerful people, and the things that they do for us, the welcoming that they give us because of Khabib, going to Uzbekistan, and at the airport I have a whole bunch of people there greeting me, singing to me, and songs, but I go to Dagestan, the same thing. I go to Russia, the same thing. You know, it's unbelievable. I mean, you thought you're some major celebrity, you know, when you go into those parts. And it's because of all Khabib. So, yeah, you're correct. I've never had that. The fighters get that, but I never got that. Never. Yeah, no, I know that. And you never really wanted it. I remember in the past you weren't like a fame chaser or anything. And it's cool to see that you're getting this now, even though you're not like looking for it. But it's cool to see that you're getting it when I see your photos with like all these important people and doing all these crazy things. And it must feel great to meet such famous and important people, but actually be respected by them. Not just like, oh, hey, you're with Khabib. Okay, come join us. It's like they respect you and they treat you with like respect, like you are a star. And it's huge people. I'm seeing you with like like sheiks and stuff. It's like crazy. Yeah. These guys, listen, man. For them, I've never met so many billionaire guys that treat me like they're serving me. They literally, I'm not joking. They're literally serving me, and they take pleasure in knowing that I'm comfortable and they're taking care of me. And they do such an unbelievable job. And I'm like looking at these guys like, I should be doing that for you, but no, they're doing it for me because that's their custom and that's what they do. They don't look at money like everybody else does. They look at everybody's a human being, but the status is not based on your money. It's based on accomplishments, and if you've got a pure heart, they love that, and they see right through you. If you're this ambitious guy and you're trying to do this and do that and try to get over them, it ain't gonna happen. These people, they understand that too well. But if you got a pure heart and there's no bad intent on you, they'll give you the world, man. They give you everything. They're the hearts. These people are super, super loving people, super caring. But don't mistake that weakness don't mistake that kindness. I'm sorry, as a weakness. Because these people are super strong. They're not weak at all.
Absolutely. Just
because they serve you and they take care of you, they are super strong. If you mess up with them and you're one of these bad people, you're gonna see how bad these people can be, because they're not stupid. They're just very kind people.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing watching. I'm living vicariously through you. It's so crazy. Like that I feel like I've had such a fun career and such an exciting career, even though I was never like a huge star or a huge champion. But like watching your level now, and it's still you, like the same guy that was helping me and training me, to watch you live this separate life is just so cool and so exciting. And like I love watching the updates and everything. Getting back to you as on more the coaching level. What is one of the biggest things that you, not to be specific and strategic, but what is one of the biggest things, what is one of the biggest advices you give to Khabib, either in between rounds or before fights, that's just kind of standard?
The number one thing I always instill in Khabib is father's plan.
Yeah,
I always say, don't you ever forget what made you who you are.
Right.
It's not Javier that comes in and makes you this good striker. Yes, I made him a better striker. Yes, he's a hell of a striker. Yes, he can stand with anybody in the world. He can. And he can potentially beat anybody in the world in striking too. But that's not what made him a champion. What made him a champion is father's plan. And I never want him to ever forget that, ever. And I believe he's the best in the world at that. And I drive that home every single time with him. We're getting better everywhere, bro. We're getting better with everything. Everything he's doing, we're getting better. But I never, ever, ever want to switch him from the grappler base that his father worked his whole life to make to a Javier Mendez prototype. No. He's a father's plan prototype, and it'll stay with him for the rest of his fighting career. As long as I have anything to say about it, he's going to stay that way. And that's what I work with him on.
So you just kind of wrap the training around that, improving or at least extending the father's plan, and then just reminding him of that before the fights and in between rounds, so that he stays focused on what he needs to do.
Focus on father's plan, making sure the punches are correct, making sure the kicks are correct, make sure the foot's correct, the balance is correct, make sure everything's correct, but nothing that I say is to remain standing. Never to stand. It's always look the avenue for the takedown. Use the punches, use the kicks, use the defense for the takedown. That's what we work on continuously. And that's why, in my opinion, he's such a master at taking everybody down, regardless of the level of wrestling that you have. He takes everybody down. When he was at our gym, he was taking down Division I wrestlers, champions, national champions. He was taking them down. Why? Because of the level of proficiency in MMA that he has. Can he do it in pure wrestling? I don't know. I never watched his wrestling, but in MMA wrestling, he's a different beast. You know, pure wrestling. He's not a pure wrestler. So as a pure wrestler, how well does Khabib do? I don't know. I never watched him. You know, but in MMA, he can take anybody down. I don't care who you are, Olympic, gold medal, whatever. In MMA, it has to be MMA. It can't be pure wrestling, because that's an area I'm not an expert on. You know,
right.
MMA, I am, and he will take anybody down in MMA. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your credentials are. You fight MMA where he can punch, kick, and whatever you're going down. You're going down. I don't care how great you are as a wrestler. You're going down.
I'm 100% in belief of that from training with him and seeing him train. It's just a different thing until you feel it, you don't understand. All right, guys, I got to thank our sponsors really fast. First, we have FitRow by Khabib. Protein bars, protein snacks, protein cookies. They have the best ingredients. Anything by Khabib is amazing. His whole team, his whole family's behind it. He's a part of the company, and they have the best product. From processing to ingredients, everything's great. Just go to fitrow.com, and that's FITROO, fitrow.com, and it's FitRow by Khabib. Our next sponsor is Manscaped, the official trimmer of the UFC and now the official trimmer of the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast, the best below-the-waist trimmer and product on the market. And now you can save 20% by entering code QUICK at checkout at manscaped.com. That's MANSCAPED.com. Enter code QUICK, 20% discount and free shipping. And that'll let them know that I sent you, which means I'm doing my job, right? You're supporting the podcast, you're supporting Manscaped, and you're getting the best product. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by AK Thailand, the world's premier luxury training resort here in Phuket, Thailand. You can go to akthailand.com and get all the information, or our Instagram. You can actually go to akthailand.com right now and save 30% on pre-book training. That's a third off the cost of all group training. You can also email us at info@akthailand.com if you have any questions. We can help you get a 6-month or a 12-month visa. Considering we are a school, we can enroll you in our Muay Thai program, so you don't have to worry about leaving the country, coming back, or anything like that. So go to akthailand.com, info@akthailand.com, and I'll see you soon.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
A lot of people were wanting to know about Gaethje saying how he's going to sprawl out of Khabib's takedowns, not be against the cage, and turn the fight into a train wreck. And he's more crazy than Khabib, and he's going to make him bleed his own blood, and his goal is to beat him into submission. And a couple questions here is going to be, obviously, I'm assured that, or I assume that you think that there's no way he's going to be able to sprawl out of every one of Khabib's takedowns. Number two, is it even possible that Khabib would submit from punishment? I don't see he would ever submit from punishment. Like, I mean, and the craziness is, I think that's a default. I think craziness is what gets you in trouble, not what gets you wins. You know, I mean, we're talking about a guy that's lost 2 fights too. So, I mean, he's obviously been crazy and made mistakes. Khabib is a calculated fighter.
He's got a really good coach. His coach will put him in line. His coach won't let him come out and do that because his coach knows that's suicide. He ain't coming like that. His coach has got him dialed in. He's got a good coach. He's going to dial him in. He's going to straighten him out, just like he did last time when he was going to do his thing. And he goes, just remember what happened last time. All you got to say is, remember what happened last time. Gaethje is going to come out and fight very intelligent, very smart. Because if he fights like he's saying, I don't believe that for 1 minute, because if I'm working with him, there's no way in hell I would let him fight like that, because that's the sure way to lose that bout, the sure way. Yeah. So I don't believe he's going to do that. So his coach is going to straighten him out, and he's not going to let him come out and do that. He's going to attempt to do all those things. Can it be successful? I'm thinking not, but you know what? Maybe. So we may have to fight. You know, like I've always told you, we got ABC plan. So you got the A plan, you got B plan, then you got C, which whatever the hell it is you need to do to win that fight. Yeah. So Khabib's got his ABC plan. So his fight IQ is very high. Khabib's fight IQ is very high. So he'll know how to fight according to what Justin does. And but I'm not expecting Justin to come out like his normal self. I'm expecting him to come out smart, intelligent, like he did with Tony. Really, really intelligent, really, really smart, picking his shot, staying relaxed. And that's what I see from him. I see that from him. And that's going to give us our toughest challenge. If he comes out reckless like he's stating, then that's going to make it easier for us, you know. So, I mean, you know, if I'm his coach, I say, hey, what do you want to do? You want to make it easy for them, or you make it harder? Well, if you want to make it harder, then fight the way your coach tells you to fight it. Yeah. And that's, I believe, what he's going to do, because this is a giant momentum opportunity for him. And if he fights like I think he'll fight, he'll be our toughest challenge for sure. If he doesn't, he will not. Right now, I say Conor's our toughest challenge ever. But Justin could very well prove me wrong by becoming almost impossible to take down. And that will make me 100% wrong. And that could happen. He could be that good. You know, he could be, or he could not. But we'll find out, right? We'll find out. I can't give him that spot until, let's see. If he can stop the takedown, we got to fight.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you. And like when I've always said that I think Justin was the toughest fight is because of those strikes, but it doesn't mean his style and what he says and how he says he's going to fight and stuff like that. It's just anybody can lose by a strike. That's what the sport's about. And so, of course, if you're going to say how can Khabib lose a fight, a punch. I mean, that's how anybody can lose a fight. So, of course, anybody can eat a punch. And Justin Gaethje is the kind of guy that delivers punches. There's just a lot more factors that go into that. You know, when you get taken down and beat up, your level of conditioning and mentality and panic sets in. It changes the whole dynamic. And that's why those punches seem to get a little bit weaker. They seem to get a little slower. They seem to get, and like I said before, I'm not trying to give anything away. I'm not any part of his camp, so I don't want to give anything away of what y'all guys are doing. But it's like the difference is I know, and as far as people leaving questions about that they want to know about, 50% of people say that Khabib doesn't have great stand-up and is unorthodox and he uses weird stand-up. 50% of people are coming on to the fact that he has really good stand-up and that he's just not using it as much because of what you guys are saying. And I know he has good stand-up. So it's like it's not like if they went to blows. We've seen Justin take a lot of punches to give punches. I mean, so it's not to say that Khabib can't land punches on Justin either. And that's what makes his fight so incredibly interesting. Because, anything can happen.
Yeah, and the thing is, because remember, in 2018, he stood with Conor.
Yeah.
One whole round.
He put him down.
Whole round. He didn't want to take him down. He stood with him. And you know what? That was a questionable round. I thought he lost, but it was so questionable. I can see other people thinking he won that round.
Yeah.
Well, he's better as a striker now than he was then.
Yep.
And confidence,
sure.
technique-wise, so he's a better striker now. So, those people that are thinking he can't strike, keep thinking that. Go ahead, keep thinking that, because this boy's just keep getting better and better and better. And the 50% that know, then they're obviously paying attention and they know what they're talking about. The other ones are just trying to believe that he's just a one-dimensional, ground and pound guy with father's plan. No, he's not. He's everything. He's well-rounded in every area. He just. I never want him to fight outside of father's plan. Everything is to get to father's plan. But that doesn't mean that if he can't take somebody down, he can't strike with them. I watch it all the time in the gym where he stands with everybody and beats everybody on the stand-up.
Yeah.
He doesn't ever do sparring sessions, bro. Never. So even just stand-up, if he wants to stand, everybody I've ever put him in front of me. And these guys are guys that have got great records and good fighters, some of the best fighters in the world. And he beats them on stand-up. Yeah. Just stand-up. Yeah. So when I hear stuff like that, then you obviously, they don't have the luxury of being cage side in training where I'm there and instructing them. So if they had that luxury, then they wouldn't be talking like that. They'd be saying, if Gaethje cannot prevent Khabib from taking him down, he's in trouble. He's in trouble, hands down. If he can prevent the takedown, which he could, it's possible, we got to fight in our hand, because I already know Khabib is going to be able to stand with him, 100%. Do I want that? Hell no. It's like I'd be the stupid coach if I want that. And I'm not a stupid coach. That ain't going to happen. And I'm going to scream my head off if I see him continue to stand with such a dangerous striker. And I mean, that guy, come on, man. Gaethje, how many performance of the nights has he gotten and how many fights? He's got more bonuses than he does fights in the UFC. Why? Because he's a highlight reel like everybody talks. The guy, he comes out and he gives it, man. And he's gotten better, a lot better. And I expect a better Gaethje than I've ever seen before.
Absolutely. He's definitely going to be. And they sell the fight and the fact that, Gaethje, Khabib is a guy who's taken every opponent down and mauled him. And Gaethje is a guy who's never been taken down and mauled. But the situation is he's also never fought Khabib. So it's a big difference. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big difference of not getting grounded and mauled by guys that are strikers and wrestlers and mid-level guys, or good at one thing particular, and then fighting a guy who is an expert at absolutely mauling people. So it's a little bit one-sided, but it's like, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it happens, because even if he misses a takedown, even if Justin sprawls, in my personal opinion, the difference is going to be that Khabib's not going to stop. That's the difference. Khabib doesn't stop, and he's not going to stop and back up in striking range. He is going to just continue. And eventually, I just can't see anybody stopping every one of his takedowns, like if he just continues like that. And we'll see what happens, but he just doesn't stop.
Well, Justin has made comments in the sense that he wrestles with Jordan Burroughs, and who's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time from the U.S., and he can't take him down. And I probably agree with that, with his statement. It's probably true. But the thing is, Jordan Burroughs is not an MMA fighter. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. but that doesn't make him a great MMA fighter. You know, it's a whole different ball game when you got someone that's punching and kicking at you and going to throw an elbow down your face. You know, it's a whole different story. He's not playing the wrestling game. You know, and one thing that Justin hasn't been doing is he hasn't been fighting anybody that's going to try to take him to the ground as much as Khabib will. He has not. So, and I know he's preparing for that now, because if they're thinking not, that's pretty unwise of them. But he's preparing for that. But he's never had ring wars doing that. He never had them.
Yeah. So
the best option, I feel, is everybody knows, and they know, they're coming for the low kick. They're coming for the low calf kick, because that's going to slow you down. And that's their bread and butter. You know, the second one would be to catch Khabib, you know, with a good shot, which anybody can do. But it's the low calf kick that's going to be the number one thing they're going to work on, because that's what I feel everybody's going to now these days. This the most effective, you know. And he's definitely coming to that. And you know as well as I know that he's one of the best kickers ever. You know, I think he is. You know, low kick, not kickers like above the waist, but low kick. He's the best low kick ever MMA fighter, top level MMA fighter I've ever seen. So he's coming with that weapon. Why would he not come with that weapon? That's what he does.
It's interesting you said that, because that's probably the second biggest question people had. I was going to bring up, and I completely forgot until now. But I was going to bring that up too. People were concerned about the sprawling and not going to the cage, and the second thing they were concerned about was the kicks. How was Khabib going to handle those kicks? And is he going to be ready for him? And of course he is, and you guys are training for it, just like he's training to do the kicks. And of course I agree with you, that's going to be a factor. He's definitely going to come in and try and bring those kicks. I personally would never, I mean, I'm not as good at Gaethje as kicking, but that wouldn't be my plan, because that just takes away my balance even more, and I'm more susceptible to getting taken down. But for him, you know, he's good at timing and all that, and it might work out for him to land a few kicks or whatever. But that was the other thing that people were concerned about, was those kicks, because they know he's going to bring them.
They're real. Those kicks are real, and they should be a concern. And anybody that's looking to fight with him better pay attention to that part of his weapon, because it's a huge weapon, and he throws nice power from right to left side. The way he throws it is really nice. So you can't keep your hands down very much with this guy, because as you're moving out, that punch coming, you know, and he goes great down the middle. I mean, the guy is really, outside of, he fights reckless when he's held down and fought properly. He fights really well, really well. And, you know, I think he's a good guy. I don't think he's a bad guy at all. He hasn't said nothing bad, no bad intentions on both sides. For sure. So this is one of the fights where I think it's mutual respect. You know, it's just who's the best guy that night. And that's what I think this is more about than anything. There's no personal anything on this fight whatsoever. But it's a challenge, because can we avoid the kicking game? Can we take him down? Can he avoid us from taking him down? And can he survive the ground if he gets taken down? Because if he's taken down, then it's about survival, you know, and being that he's never been to the ground very much, so he hasn't fought as much on the ground. This whole camp, I think he's fighting probably a lot off the ground. He'd have to. He'd be foolish not to. You know, and anybody that's a good coach is working with all these areas. And his coach is a good coach, so he's doing all those things necessary. You know, so he's going to come well prepared in all areas, just like we are. But can we prevent the kicks? Can we prevent him from landing a shot? Well, we're working on it. Only thing we'll tell is let the fight happen.
That's what makes sense.
If we get it right, we got it right. If we don't, then, you know, we'll see what happens. But I feel that every time with Khabib, he won't lose. He'll never lose. That's the way I feel about him.
Yeah.
He just won't lose. Might be the toughest fight of his career. That could very well be it. But he ain't going to lose. He's not going to lose. He's going to go out there and destroy, and like he always does. He may have a tougher time than anybody, but he's still going to persevere. He's still going to go through this, and he's going to win. And don't sleep on his punches. Don't sleep on his kicking. Don't sleep on his striking. That's a foolish thing to do. This man has been involved with me since 2012. Look at his back then, 2012, how he looked. Yeah. Look at him now. Every time he's improved. I tell people all the time, don't judge him on the past, judge him on the present, and don't judge him on 2018. Don't judge him against Dustin. You have to go into the gym now, watch him train, judge him now. And that's what people don't realize is, like I tell people all the time, this guy improves all the time because he doesn't spend time with other coaches on the striking end. He only spends time with me. Almost all of the time he spent has been with me. So I'm the one that teaches him everything he's got pretty much. Not everything, but a vast majority of his stand-up is done through me, and the way he thinks about fighting is through me and his father.
Yeah. And I agree with you 100%. And to make this more exciting for the fans that don't take this into consideration because they just assume Gaethje's a better striker because he's so wild, he throws so many punches and all that. Not only is Khabib such a great technical striker in a sense of, like, I know you have him, I'm sure you have him sparring guys just striking only, and he's holding his own and doing better and winning those matches as well. But the difference is like Khabib is a different type of striker. When you're so good on the ground and you have people so panicked about getting taken down, and when you feel that grip strength and you feel that takedown and that inability of balancing yourself and getting thrown to the ground so easily and positioned so easily, that adds a different element to your mindset. And Khabib is an expert at placing those strikes in between those takedowns and in between those scrambles, whereas that's how he got Conor. You know what I mean? It's not like he went out there and boxed Conor like Mayweather and just outboxed him.
No.
He caught him because Conor's mind was thinking about takedowns and was thinking about all this other stuff. Yeah. He's an expert at that. So you're talking about an expert car wreck, just absolute rock'em sock'em robot bashing machine, and then you're talking about a guy who can place his shots at any given time, you know, while doing takedowns, after takedowns, missing takedowns, getting takedowns. Yeah. It's a whole different dynamic. So if this fight turns into a striking match, it is still a freaking interesting fight.
Let's put it this way. Let me just equate this. Forget Justin. Let's just use Jordan Burroughs. Let's say Khabib wrestles with Jordan Burroughs. He's not taking Jordan Burroughs down wrestling. No, I don't think it's going to happen. I seriously doubt that will happen. I seriously doubt that will happen.
Just takedown for takedown.
Let's add another equation to it. Let's make it MMA. Jordan Burroughs going down.
Yeah.
He's going down. He is going down. No ifs, no buts. He's going down. He ain't going to be able to stop it. There's not a goddamn thing he can do about it. Because if he tries to stop it, he's getting punched out.
Yep.
And he can't stop it. He won't be able to stop it.
While he's defending the takedown, he's going to get smashed.
So for those of you guys that are thinking, oh, this and that, well, I seriously doubt, and I know I'm correct, put the greatest wrestler at that weight against him, and he tries to just wrestle Khabib, and Khabib does MMA with him. It's not going to happen. It's a train wreck. He will get smashed.
You can't block the punches and the takedowns at the same time.
No,
it's impossible.
No, that's what people. That's the thing that
that's
people.
The dynamic.
So I use that equation. So people will go, got it. So again, the opposite. Now you got Jordan Burroughs taking you down, but he doesn't know how to punch. He doesn't know how to kick proficiently. So all you got to worry about him is his shot. So if you're good, like Justin is, you can prevent that. But what if Jordan can punch like a Muhammad Ali or a Mike Tyson? Now I'll try it with Jordan. Now I'll try to stop his takedown. You ain't going to stop shit. Yeah. He's going to walk right through you, man. Walk right through you. Because not only that, if he doesn't walk through, he's going to knock your ass out. So take your choice. If that guy's that talented, you're going to get it.
Yeah, and all this being said, you know, I'm still 100% that I think Khabib could be the first fighter to retire undefeated. But that being said, I'm going to say this is going to be an interesting fight, and we are going to see so many different elements, I think, in this fight that we haven't been able to see. And much respect to Justin Gaethje, and yes, he does have a chance to win the fight, absolutely. You know, and it is going to be an absolute. It's going to be one of the most interesting fights Khabib's ever had because of the fact Justin can defend some of those takedowns, and it's going to change the dynamic, and we're going to see a different side of Khabib and a different side of Justin all at the same time. And we saw Justin make leaps and bounds against Tony Ferguson, so I'm sure he's going to be ready to make leaps and bounds against Khabib as well. So I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, and I feel bad for your nervousness in the corner until this thing is over, because I'm sure it's going to be a sweaty fight for those first few minutes.
Definitely going to be nervous for sure.
I'm going to be nervous.
He's probably, if he's not the most credible, most dangerous opponent, he's the second most. And I'm still putting Conor there, but he could very well be the most dangerous. So even then, you're still neck to neck. There's neck to neck. Yeah. I mean, this guy, he's messed up. He's paid the price, 2 losses for being not the smartest guy out there in the fight game, blood and guts, And then he corrected that, and look what he's done. He's destroyed people. And if he stays on track the way he is right now, and if he fights smart, which I'm expecting him to fight very smart, like he fought Tony, we got to fight. It's a fight.
Yeah,
it's a fight. Because he's going to fight smart. It's not going to be easy for us whatsoever. No way in hell is it going to be easy. If we take him down once, we're going to take him down twice, and we'll see what happens if he can get up once or twice. He'll get up once, I believe. He might even get up twice, but after the second time he gets up, he's spent a lot of time there. Yeah. And then once Khabib's got you figured out, you're going down. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question, just moving on since we've talked so much about this. You being a coach, I'm going to ask Khabib this when I talk to him, but you being a coach, how, and I know from the old days how it was when I used to fight, from my perspective as a fighter, how is it for you having so many guys on the same night, being that you're going to have Omar, you're going to have Islam, you're going to have Khabib, all back-to-back, not back-to-back necessarily fight for fight, but pretty much back-to-back throughout the night. How tough is that for you as a coach to have to deal with that all in the same night? So many guys that you train.
It's not so tough. Last time we were here, we had Zubaira, we had Islam, and we had Khabib. So we had three the same. That wasn't tough at all because there was other coaches that were in charge of handling them. So it was easy. It will be easy again. But unfortunately, one thing I did notice, before I got on there with you, I just noticed in MMA fighting, it said that Islam will not have an opponent, and I don't know if that's true.
So his fight might be canceled? Right now.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. They said that his fight is off the table. And after I'm done with your interview, I'm going to check up on that to see, because I just read it right now.
Wow.
Before I got on you, and I'm like, I just said the good almighty F word. That's what came out of me, because he is looking so good. That guy is a perfectionist. He's good everywhere, mental, physical. And I can understand why people don't want to fight Islam, because he's number one. He's probably 11th or 12th in the ranking. So nobody in the top 10 wants to risk their ranking to fight a guy that's not even in the top 10. I get it on short notice, and it's not even a main event. I mean, anybody wants to fight Islam that's in the top 10 wants to be a main event. Yeah. Any manager that's worth his gold is not going to want to touch him. So I figure the only people that can probably fight is people on short notice, like people that are brand new into the UFC that never had the other opportunities. They'll come and take them. But I don't think they've been able to get anybody. And, a lot of it has to do with COVID, too. COVID's changed the dynamics of this, too, because people have to be in quarantine a certain amount of time. And if you pass that time, then it's kind of hard to get an opponent. So COVID has a lot to do with Islam not being able to get a fight. I'm assuming that. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Okay. That COVID has a lot to do with it. And the other factor is he's just that damn good.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know. I was looking forward to that podcast coming up next, actually. So we'll see what happens, and we'll follow the news after this podcast and just see what the situation is. I figured the UFC is so good at getting opponents. I figured that somebody would jump in and they would get it. But with this COVID thing being in Abu Dhabi, I can see how that possibly might not happen.
The UFC hands are tied, bro. I believe they're the best at getting you a backup fight. I've never seen any organization do a great job like they do at getting replacement and then also, let's face it, they're the biggest organization, so they have the most amount of fighters. So they not only are they great at it, but they also have the bigger category to choose from. And other organizations don't even have a quarter of what they have, so they don't have the same luxury, that they do. I don't know, let's say Bellator. I don't think Bellator can replicate that. I'm sure Bellator would do the same if they had the same amount of resources, but they don't, because they don't have as many signed athletes. I think the UFC has got like 600 plus, and I don't think any other organization even has 200. Right. I'm guessing, but I'm assuming that. And I bet you I'm pretty correct. I bet you I'm pretty correct. The UFC is like, it just blows everybody away in the amount of fighters that they have, but also they have more shows. They have double the shows anybody has, or triple the shows.
Yeah, they're killing it right now.
They have a bigger army to choose from, and all these other people don't have an army. So that's why they're so good at being able to fill the spot. But again, the COVID situation, Islam being that good, I think those two factors played a big part in why he couldn't get matched.
Okay, well, a couple more quick questions, and I'll let you get back to. I know you're going to go try to find out what's going on with Islam and everything. Who is not necessarily obviously the most promising, but who is, a lot of people want to know, who is the most aggressive of the Dagestan crew that you train right now? Who is the most aggressive killer, wanting to just end the fight as fast as possible? I know who you're going to say, but
there's only one, Usman. He's the most. He's the Luke Rockhold. He's the Luke Rockhold of Dagestan. That guy.
Yeah.
He is so gifted, man. I mean, the other day he did like 33 pull-ups.
Damn, that's a lot.
33. I said, "Hey, how many pull-ups can you do?" He goes, "I don't know, coach." He started doing pull-ups, and I'm going, "Oh God, he did 33."
It's hard to even count.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, he's very, very athletic, very tall, good kicker, good puncher, hard to take down. Dude, he's the whole package. Young, 22 years old, good looking. I mean, good built. I mean, this kid is a superstar. Not now, will be.
Yeah.
You just got to build him up properly. He's got to get the right fights. He's not a superstar today. He can't fight the best of the best now, but he will be able to fight the best of the best, and he will beat the best of the best with time. 3, 4, 5 years from now, everybody will be talking about this kid.
Absolutely. And what's your best advice to fighters coming up right now, being from your coaching perspective? What's your best advice that they should focus on more than anything else to try and be a successful fighter? Because we got these fighters, especially here in Thailand, they're just jumping from gym to gym. You know, they don't have loyalty to anything, and they're always looking for the greener grass. They're not settling down. You know, their mind's not in the right place, and then we catch them partying sometimes when they should be training. Nothing like what we used to do at AK, you know. So what's your best advice just overall? What is the mindset? What should it be for these young fighters if they really want to make it in the UFC and build all the big organizations and be a champion one day?
If you know, not everybody can be a champion, but if they really want to fulfill their greatest potential that they have, then they need to follow the rules of, like in chess, right? If you learn chess game, right, you got to learn how to work the pawns, the pawns, right? You got to learn how to work the king, the queen, the bishop, the rook, the knight. You know, you have to learn every piece. So therefore, in the martial arts part of MMA, you have to learn all those pieces, and then you have to strategize mentally on the game plan. You have to use your mind, right? You have to use your mind. And so you can't be sick. You can't be this. You can't play successful in chess if you got any of those things coming your way. And you have to stay relaxed. You can't stay too amped up, because if you go amped up, what happens? You make a wrong move, checkmate. It's the same thing. You know, it's the same application that you would do in the chess game. You have to apply that to MMA. And it's not boxing, not the same principle, because in boxing there's only one art. So it's like checkers for me. Boxing is like the sweet science of checkers, and MMA is the sweet science of chess.
Yeah.
You know, and not science yet, but you better learn how to play chess, and you better learn how to take care of your body, because you only have one tempo. Without that tempo, without the proper sleep, without the hygiene, taking care of, making all your vitamins are right. I mean, if COVID doesn't teach you how to take care of yourself, then I don't know what will. Think about this. All the fighters that have gotten COVID, they're in such good shape. Rarely any of them have had any problem beating it. 1-2 days. Daniel Cormier gets COVID one day, really, could come back the next day. He was contagious, so he stayed away, but he was one day, really. And most of the fighters in my gym, they got it, but it was like 1-2 days. That's it. You know, they weren't, because they're in good health. You know, if you're not in good health, then guess what? You can't perform. So use COVID as a reason why you need to take care of your body. And if you're a fighter, if you get COVID, if you're in good health, you'll destroy it, no problem. But if you're not in good health, what happens? You got potentially life-threatening problems. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. So take care of your body, stay focused, train hard.
Yeah, I could have said it easier that way.
Well, I decided to summarize what you said, that's all. And then last thing, because you're obviously one of the best striking coaches in the world, what did you think about, what was your breakdown of the Stylebender Costa fight, and not only how good his strikes were and how he placed them, but how well he shut down Costa from coming in and doing what Costa does? Everyone thinks Costa didn't fight his game plan, but Stylebender stopped it, in my opinion. I mean, he stopped it. What did you think?
I could tell you what I thought from watching the video of the training sessions. I thought Costa was too slow. He looked very slow, very powerful, very slow. And I just said, man, Israel's going to tear him apart. He's going to tear him apart. And I looked at Joel Romero, who's the greatest wrestler, I believe, in this MMA, even though he doesn't use it like he could. He did try to take Israel down, and he couldn't. So I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is Costa going to take Israel down? He's such a precision striker. He's got cat-like reflexes. He's got almost 100 or so kickboxing matches with, 1 or 2 losses. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
the guy's got the confidence. He's got everything that you would want. He acts proper. I mean, I'm a big fan of his. So I was not surprised of the mastery that he did. I predicted that he would do that because he is too fast, too precision, like striking. You know, Costa is a great fighter and is still going to improve. But I don't know how you're going to, unless you can't take Israel down, how are you going to outstrike him? No, I don't think so. It ain't going to happen. You can have that one shot, you know, but if he comes in and tears your calf apart, well, he immobilizes you, then what? You got so much pain, you trying to advance on a striker like him? Good luck. Ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. Yeah. Not going to happen. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. When I had Frank Shamrock way back in the day, you know, back in 97, you know, or 96, 97, I think it was 97, first time I put on the gloves with Frank, it was just kickboxing. It was just a kickboxing match, right? It was so easy to play with him. It was like, because he was so afraid of what I was going to do to him, and I didn't fear him whatsoever. No matter what he did, he could never hurt me, never, ever, because he wasn't good enough back then, right? There's nothing he could do, nothing he could do. So it was confidence galore for me. Well, can you imagine if I learned MMA and I learned the grappling, and all of a sudden you try to stand with me? If you're not taking me to the ground, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You are in trouble, because I have way too much experience on the stand-up, and it's not going to happen. And I just use my experience of what happened to me as how things can progress. Like, for instance, when I went with Frank and we did MMA, then I couldn't strike with him like I wanted to, because I was always fear of being taken down. And Frank didn't want to stand with me. He was looking to take me down. So all of a sudden, I went from this great striker to this mediocre striker that was running from him, because I couldn't stand there, because he was going to shoot in on me. And he did. He shot in quite a few times. He missed. But regardless, I had no offense whatsoever. His offense took away my offense, because it was not equal. He wasn't trying to wrestle with, he wasn't trying to stand with me. He was trying to wrestle with me. And I wasn't trying to wrestle with him. I was trying to stand with him. So I learned that right away, real quick. You know, if you're going to play somebody's game, you better learn their game.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Jav, thank you so much for taking the time out again, as always, and giving such an in-depth podcast with so much information. I'm sure everybody's going to appreciate that. I'm going to try to get Khabib on here next. If we can't get Islam, I know you're going to go find out right now what's happening with Islam. We'll stay in tune with that. And by the time this posts tomorrow, everyone's probably going to know what the situation is. But
I think they're going to you look at MMA fighting, it's on MMA fighting and Bloody Elbow. One of those, Bloody Elbow or MMA fighting, it's on there. So I think everybody's going to know by the time this comes out that Islam's fight. I hope I'm wrong and they somehow find somebody. But from what I read, MMA fighting said is out.
Well, if the fight's on, we'll have Islam next, and if not, we'll have Khabib. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise. It's great watching you guys over in Abu Dhabi. Dubai, and then obviously next in Abu Dhabi. And living vicariously through you guys. Like I said, it's been awesome watching. I can't wait for the fight. It's going to be a crazy night of fights for the whole team. And always great to have you on the show. And I'm sure we'll catch up right after.
You probably like that gliding thing they did right on the top of that whatever.
You know what's funny? I did that one time. Yeah, that's
up your alley.
It's the longest urban zip line in the world, and I saw them doing that, and it's like it's crazy. Like you go over the whole city, and you go over a bridge and the water. And I did it when I was in Dubai last time, and it is crazy. Like it is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that was up your alley. Dangerous stuff. That's you, crazy Swick. Not me. He ain't getting me to do that.
It's cool they can do it. It's cool they can do it though.
Yeah. I mean, they enjoyed it, you know. But coach, no, no, thank you.
You should do it, Jav. They have you strapped in.
Nah, my heart's not strapped in.
You can swim, right? If most of the way, like it's water, if you fall, you can just swim to the shore.
I can't swim that good.
All right, take care, Jav. Great talking to you.
All right, buddy. Bye.
All right, there we go. Javier Mendez. Great podcast. Very informative. Unfortunately, ended with some bad news. I'm going to check into it. I haven't looked into it yet, but it looks like Islam might not have an opponent, which sucks. I know he's training really hard. I've been following with Javier, and his training and his camp is going absolutely amazing. It's going to be really sad if he doesn't have an opponent. You guys already know by now, by the time this podcast comes out, this is going to be 24 hours from now. And we just found out from Javier looking on the internet. But it was good to get inside of the camp and how everything's going, and who knows what can change. They can still find somebody, who knows. But if Islam doesn't have an opponent, we might not get that podcast squeezed in. And that was the next scheduled podcast. We'll just jump to Khabib. We're planning right now to do Khabib's podcast while he's in quarantine. Which will be Sunday or Monday. That'll be the easiest time for him. I want to make it the easiest for him, considering he has got such a tight schedule right now. He's training. He's doing a lot of obligations for the UFC and for everything else. It's obviously a huge fight. So I figure if I can catch him in his quarantine, that'd be the best option. So we're going to wait for that and see how that goes. If all goes as planned, he will be the next one, unless Islam gets an opponent. If so, then we'll get Islam on here the same, Sunday or Monday. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. It's always great talking to Javier, a good friend of mine for many years. Obviously, my head trainer during my career. It's great watching him in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai, you know, hanging out with these guys and having a great time and coaching and finally getting the credit that he deserves. You know, he's been putting in a lot of time for a long time and getting no credit for it back in the old days, you know, and I'm glad to see that he's finally getting the credit he deserves and living this great life and enjoying these great things. And I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for the team. I'm so happy for everybody. So hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you're on YouTube, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Since we do have a little bit of time before Khabib comes on, if you have any last minute questions, go ahead and leave them. We've taken in a lot of your questions and we have all of them, all the good ones written down. We are going to try to get through all of them. I don't want to put too much on them, but we will get all the important stuff answered. So if you have anything that's relevant, please leave it on this podcast. We still will have a couple of days after we post this before we talk to Khabib. And hope you enjoy the show. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about the podcast. Tell us what you think about how it's going, the past podcasts, and who you'd like to see in the future, who you want us to jump to next when we get done with the series. We got some great ideas, and we're reaching out to some cool people, so we're going to keep this going full on right after we talk to Khabib and get this UFC 254 out of the way. If you're on the audio platform, subscribe there as well, or follow us, or leave a comment on the reviews, or whatever it is you do on the audio platforms. We appreciate all the support. We love to give feedback to you guys and let you know we support all your opinions, no matter what they are, whether they're good, whether they're critiques. We're just trying to share these conversations that I'm enjoying like crazy having with my good friends, teammates, acquaintances, and people that I don't even know that are in the sport that are just interesting and in all realms of the world. So I'm glad to share them with you. I'm glad you're enjoying them, and we'll see you next time.